Welcome to the Leading from the Roots Participatory Action Research Project process video from Marine Mills Folk School in Marine on St. Croix, Minnesota. Participatory Action Research, or PAR for short, is collective research, education, and action used to gather information to use for change on social or environmental issues. It involves people who are concerned about or affected by an issue, taking a leading role in producing and using knowledge about it. By situating the research in the here and now, what is actually happening at the moment, it can become a very messy research process. If you imagine research to be done by a scientist in a white lab coat, where she is an objective observer or the situation is controlled, this is not that kind of research. Instead, if you can, picture a community meeting where folks are passionate about the issues, where emotions are tangible, and opinions multiply. The purpose of this PAR project has been to explore the stories and impacts of US-based folk schools as we navigate school and community responses to a community crisis. Examples of these crises have included the impact of COVID-19 and the pandemic over the last 18 months on local folk schools, equity and access to folk school education, food insecurity, mental health, and social isolation that affects the community in which our folk school resides, and economic resilience of both the community at large and Marine Mills Folk School specifically. Marine Mills Folk School applied and was chosen to participate in this PAR project, which is called Leading from the Roots, in the fall of 2020. This project/grant was created by a doctoral student at Fielding Graduate University in Santa Barbara, California. Our goal was to develop a deeper understanding of Marine Mills Folk School's values and our contribution to civic health from the point of view of 5 different work groups. First one being the Marine Mills Folk School Board of Directors, the Marine Mills Online Class Committee, Concordia University Student Consultants from St. Paul, Minnesota, Net Impact, a group of student consultants at the Carlson Business School at the University of Minnesota, and the Open Door Welcome Back Event Committee, preparing the community to be back in person for classes at Marine Mills in the fall. Our research objectives were to begin to answer the following questions. What motivated the creation of Marine Mills? What narratives do Marine Mills Folk School Board of Directors construct around school identity, values, and purpose? What are the experiences and impacts of Marine Mills within our community? And how can we stay alive and survive the COVID-19 pandemic? Our PAR process looked like this. Marine Mills chose to look at how our very young folk school survived the COVID-19 pandemic without losing the momentum that we had created prior to March 2020. We also needed to examine how to prevent board of director exhaustion. It took us a while to understand PAR and how to apply it to our folk school survival. This type of research is not straightforward. You don't start at the beginning, but rather you may start in the middle, go to the beginning, and then back to what you think is the ending, and then find yourself at the beginning again. During the entire pandemic, the board of directors continued to meet monthly via Zoom to discuss what's next, and experienced lots of frustrations when we could not find an answer to that question. We closed in March of 2020 and began offering online classes in September of that year. We started slow, but we're offering a number of classes throughout the week. A class committee was developed to reach out to our instructors, find out if they'd be willing to teach online, and then train them to do so on Zoom. What we did learn very quickly is the world, including everyone at Marine Mills, became very good Zoomers very quickly. The class committee met every Monday, affectionately named our lunch bunch, to review the classes that were coming up, see what needed to be done for them, and see how many students had signed up. We reviewed social media plans and what instructors we had ready to be teaching in the coming weeks. Without this meeting, we would have quickly lost our way. This proved to be a very, very valuable meeting. Our ability to innovate was paramount, and we marveled at the speed in which this innovation could happen. As previously explained, Marine Mills began in March of 2018, and the board worked very hard to get the folk school off the ground and had very little time to focus on fundraising prior to the pandemic closure. In December, Krista Getchell, who teaches for the Concordia University in St. Paul, approached Marine Mills about using the folk school as her teaching organization as she taught fundraising to her students. It was wonderful to have other individuals look into the Marine Mills organization and see what we were doing well and what we could improve on. Krista's motto, plan the work and then work the plan. By working alongside the Concordia Consulting Group, this group of students saw something that we knew about but didn't know how to fix, which was the amount of work our board of directors were asked to do in the day-to-day operations of the folk school. Our board was a working board doing everything to make the organization operate. They also noticed that our board was exhausted. It could be said that COVID-19 came at the right time for the longevity of the Marine Mills Board of Directors. They were tired. Their key findings are as followed. Number 1, board exhaustion. Number 2, we need a strategic plan. 3, we needed to look at future staffing. And 4, we needed to complete succession planning. The other key areas that the consulting group from Concordia identified were fundraising plans, volunteer leadership, and the need of a social media intern. We then were approached by Net Impact of Minnesota, which is part of a global community of mission-driven chapters determined to make a difference. And through working with this group of young people, it was determined that Marine Mills could benefit from these areas. They determined we had inefficient communication systems, we needed to improve our outreach marketing, and they provided us how-to videos for quick reference, which was fantastic. And finally, we have been working with a group providing us open door welcome back event planning, and it is to provide a welcome back day-long celebration with a combination of craft events, artist tabletops selling their art, in-person and online classes, and a main event for everyone to experience. This event will take place on and in Marine Mills School grounds and in the building, and it will happen in October of 2021. Marine Mills has had the opportunity to learn so much about itself and the world it is a part of through this process. All of this research happened at exactly the right time, and we look forward to going forward and applying all the many facets of our very first PAR project. A special thank you to all of you who have helped us.
So welcome everyone to the March board meeting for Marine Mills Folk School. And I want to introduce Alana, who's our visitor. But before I do that, I just want to do a little bit of celebration that, for goodness sakes, we are still here, because it was a year ago that we shut it down. And of course, we all, our public faces, we all said, yeah, well, we're going to do this. But I bet every single one of us wasn't sure what was going to happen. So It's thanks to all of you. Kathy Wagner has just pulled way more than her expected responsibilities. That's fabulous. And so thank you.